Welcome back to Dr. Josefina's Way, and I'm Laura Guttridge. Today we're talking about achieving happiness, and like always I think about the lessons after I read them, and this made me think of something from one of my philosophy classes. Soren Kierkegaard, he's a philosopher from back in the 1800s, early 1900s, sometime long ago, and one of his things that he always thought and always talked about in his writings was about suffering. And he said to live is to suffer, and that there's no getting around it, that the moment you're born, you're guaranteed to suffer.
Not me!
But he was a very gloomy philosopher.
Yes.
So what it makes me think, though, is that perhaps we are born that way, because there's so many obstacles and tragedies in our lives that we have to deal with.
Yes.
The death of our parents, just whatever, just the things that are involved with life.
Yes.
So I think you have to really dig deep in your soul and tell yourself, I'm going to be happy.
Yes, because you were born happy.
Yeah. That's Josefina's philosophy.
Yeah. Look at Celeste. Was she born miserable? She was born happy.
Yes.
And then society, the parents, the school, and the environment start giving you this negativity, and then if you don't have your stuff together from day one, you buy into their belief system that you're supposed to be miserable.
Right.
I completely reject that one.
Well, I do too, but there are people that have that frame of thought that, that's what you should expect.
Exactly, you're right. I mean, you're right. The other day, I had a client. I mean, she comes and she cries for the whole hour, and she is the type of person that don't believe she deserves to be happy. There are some people that have this negative attitude towards life and towards themselves, because you can have unbelievable things happen to you, but you see the people with the right attitude, they make it through, they learn from it, they get stronger, they get more powerful. In your case and in my case, of course we had challenges. What do? We go through it, we go around it, and we come out smelling like flowers.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, baby.
But, also, though, it gives you good karma to be happy, because people don't want to be around someone who's miserable and complaining all the time, because it's such a downer.
Well, and it's a waste of life. You're wasting your life when you invest your time, your energy, your money, your talents, your gifts, your ability to complain about everything in life. Then you're really wasting your beingness. I mean, to me, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean we don't have challenges and we don't have things, and people die and people come and people grow and you lose your job and all this kind of stuff, but it's all about your attitude.
Right. Well, most people, or a lot of people, they
me going.
I knew that would. I knew it would. But they think that they have no control of their happiness. They think that it either happens or it doesn't, but you can control it.
Of course, because it's not that they don't have control. They use that as an excuse not to take responsibility for my life.
Right.
You can use your mom, your dad, the society, the circumstances. You don't have money, you're too old, you do this, you do that. You see that constantly.
Yes.
Those people are not willing to take responsibility for themselves. So it's easier for me to blame you.
Right.
Because when I'm busy blaming you, that means I don't have time to think about taking responsibility for my life. So those people need work.
Well,
and they need to come to see me, and I make you happy.
And they could lose their jobs, because when you bring that kind of misery to the workplace, as Robert was saying, it's contagious.
Yes.
And I can recall a secretary that used to work at my husband's office. I won't give any names, of course, but she would answer the phone so miserably, and you could just tell. And then she wouldn't say goodbye to me. It was very, and I knew it was, I didn't take it personally, but she was just mean or unhappy.
Yes, exactly. And people who are in a job like that, they really have to do what we mentioned many times in this show. You have to evaluate yourself, and you have to really have some personal integrity, some personal transparency with you, and decide, I'm miserable in this job. I don't like this job. Let me go back to school. Let me do something else. Find what your calling is, what your bliss is, and follow that, and the money will come, like you were saying in another show.
Yes.
But when you decide to continue to be miserable, to be unhappy, and to contaminate everybody around you, you're doing no one a favor, especially to you.
Yes. And another thing I would like to mention is when you talk about following your inner self leading you to that happiness, and it just made me think of an example of women. A lot of women, instead of following their heart and marrying someone that they really love, they may marry for other reasons. And they're going to be miserable because they didn't listen to their inner self and follow their heart and marry someone that they love. Instead, they married someone for money or a position or whatever, and they're not happy.
Yeah.
So money does not always equal happiness.
No, absolutely no. And people like that, they need help.
Yes.
I mean, you know what I mean? Because if you're gonna, you don't have any integrity, and you have to sleep with yourself.
Right.
Wherever you go, you're taking yourself with you. And if you're making those choices and you don't having that personal integrity and honesty within you, then you can be happy. Happy people are people who follow their dream, who they don't care how much it's gonna cost. Again, that story we're talking about Diana.
Yes.
What is her last name again, Robert?
Begins with an N.
Naya.
I can't remember.
Me neither. That's my. But and then we'll see. We'll see the determination. We'll see the perseverance. We'll see that people wants to follow the thing that those are happy people. Like you were saying, Laura, she didn't care. She was swimming in the dark at night.
Yes.
She was swimming. She was whatever. It was her passion. It was something she wanted to do. The question is, how bad do you want it?
Right. Well, it ties in with what you say here. Accept that you deserve to be happy.
Yes.
And she felt she deserved it.
Exactly. That's part of her happiness. Going back to my client, she doesn't deserve to be happy. She tells me my teeth went bad, and they have money. She's not she's coming from people with money, and she said my mom offered me to pay for my teeth, but I don't want to take the money. I said, why not?
Right, if the teeth are
if your teeth are rotten and your mother is saying, baby, I'm going to pay for your teeth, she doesn't believe she deserves to be happy. She doesn't accept it. So she wants to continue to blame people that she hasn't been happy for years and blah, 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 blah. I told her to snap out of it.
Yes. Well, some people, they really do find some kind of a pleasure of having these things to complain, woe is me kind of syndrome.
Yes.
They want a pity instead of taking a stand and changing.
They're happy being miserable.
Yes,
they
exactly.
enjoy. They enjoy being miserable. The thing is that if you find people like that around you, you run away from these people.
Yes.
Because misery likes company and it's contagious.
Absolutely.
It can contaminate the workplace. It can contaminate your family. Your children. What type of peer
pressure?
Peers that your teacher, the kids are associating with, because all that stuff is going to impact. It's going to influence you.
Absolutely.
So you make sure who you're hanging out with.
Absolutely. Yes, it's very contagious, and you have to be willing to work hard sometimes for happiness.
Definitely, because it's like it's a two-way street. Because if you love what you're doing, no matter what kind of work you have to do to achieve that, you don't mind.
Right.
You're still happy. The steps, those things that you like I said in the lesson. Sometimes you have to do things that they don't make you happy, but when you think about this step is preparing me for the adventure ahead, so I'm happy now.
Right. Thinking about the end results.
Absolutely. Like Diana, she's swimming, but she knows she's gonna see Key West.
Yes.
And at one moment she see light, and she saw what's the moon coming out, and her team said that's not the moon, that's the light from Key West, and that gave her more power. Yes. So she was doing things that was challenging, but I get chills because once you're doing something that you want to do, you don't care.
Right, and she ended up in my favorite place on earth. I just love Key West. That is my favorite place. It's just a place if you want to go and just unwind and, you know, relax, put your toes in the sand, and I'm sure she enjoyed her day there.
And one of the things that I like to mention before we go, to achieve happiness, this is the thing, you have to work in the 4 components of your personality. You have to work on your mind, your thinking, what you say. You have to work in your body, your health, your physical health. You have to work in your spiritual life, because that gives you power and that gives you really the strength to continue no matter what. And you have to work in your emotions, being happy person, having good energy, be excited about who you are and what you're doing. Baby, he's saying we gotta wrap it up. Hey, don't forget, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, email, stay in touch. We love you, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.